Oh, hello there. It appears you've interrupted me while I'm trying to hack into your mainframe. And listen, you need to protect yourself from my hacking ways by getting yourself Surfshark, 85% off and 3 months for free. There is a link in the description below. More on them in a bit. Mainframe! Don't worry. Good news, that was just a prank. Everything is fine. I haven't stolen your personal data. Or have I, Peter? If there's someone called Peter watching right now, I hope you're freaking the out. I need to put my regular glasses on. Welcome back to Business Blaze. I am your boy with the blaze. This script is already incredibly up, and it says Surfshark on the top because, well, this video is brought to you by Surfshark, but I've already mentioned that. Danny wrote us a script, more marketing mistruths and big whoppers. I hope we're talking about whoppers from Burger King because, well, I don't know why. I'm hungry. I'd like a big whopper, but I'm not having that today. Anyway, that's sad. I'm gonna read Danny's script. Sam is afterwards gonna add us some fine, high quality, finest of the fine memes. He is our resident memologist, also known as a video editor. Let's jump in. In previous episodes of Business Blaze, we've taken a look at some misleading marketing claims that could generously be accused of mildly distorting the absolute truth. If we were using slightly bolder language, we might accuse the companies involved of being dirty, stinking liars who have been caught brown-handed in trying to fob us off with a crock of complete horse shit. Obviously, we wouldn't say that, but we would say that allegedly that is what happened. Allegedly. I recently discovered that allegedly.com is for sale for $2,800. I offered $500. Let's see if they bite. Owning a single word domain would be cool, and I'll just have it forward to a Rickroll. That would be a very expensive Rickroll. You can also go to purchthemerch.co to purchase. I'm not wearing my merch, but you can purchase my merch at purchthemerch.co, P-U-R-C-H, or if you'd like to get Rickrolled, just go to P-E-R-C-H, themerch.co, because that is a Rickroll. Someone bought it just to troll me, apparently. Thanks. And in a rare example of a Business Blaze episode quickly getting to the point and diving straight into the content, I think we're all already on the same page when I say that we're about to look at some more examples of frankly dubious marketing claims, allegedly, which proved quite tricky to back up with evidence or science or facts or logic or reason. If you prefer, you can always pretend that I spent ages crafting an introduction jam-packed with clever OG Business Blaze legend jokes, which Simon skipped over in a rush to get to the pub a bit quicker. I'm sorry, Danny. The last introduction went on for so long that I was like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. Poor Danny. He does make these long. Buckets of healthy goodness. I always like to be surprised by some of the fascinating new facts you can pick up from just sitting in your pants all day and watching TV commercials. I know I say this all the time and then people destroy me in the comments, but who watches commercials anymore? And people are like, Simon, you make your money off commercials. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't watch them because I pay the $5 a month or whatever for YouTube Red because I'm not poor. Simon, don't go. I'm probably gonna have some of that, aren't I? Shall I edit it out? If you're seeing it, I didn't.
Oh no, he didn't.
And also television. I don't own, I mean, I have a television, but it just has like Netflix and Amazon and that kind of shit. It doesn't have TV because you watch TV and it's like you watch an hour of stuff and you get 20 minutes of adverts. And even if you do, like I've mentioned this before, my parents have like Sky, which I think is American cable, and it's like they'll record some show on their box and then the adverts will come on and they'll fast forward through them. It's been years. The last time I watched adverts was probably in a hotel lobby somewhere while I was eating my breakfast and I left my phone in my room by accident. Oh, anyway. Oh my god, I know, I said we'd get into it. Danny even promised it, and here we are waffling on. And I think I just made up the word f***ing. Over the years, I've learned that gorillas can play drums really well. Oh my god, I remember that advert. That was cool. Nothing, although I don't remember what it advertises. And that is important because you can be like, oh my god, that advert was amazing. And then someone will ask you, well, what was it advertising? You'd be like, don't know. Well, it wasn't a brilliant advert then, was it? Nothing sucks like an Electrolux. Oh, shit. Dr. Pepper is not for women. I thought that was Yorkies. Are Yorkies and Dr. Pepper both not for women? Dr. Pepper tastes kind of nasty. And the whole of America runs on Dunkin' Donuts. But one of the most extraordinary things I learned from TV commercials was back in 2004. It felt like a serving of incredibly good news, which I thought was going to be a real game changer. It was actually a pair of TV ads that were dishing up dietary education on my TV screen. In the first commercial, a woman approaches her husband and says, "Remember how we talked about eating better? Well, it starts starts today. Oh my god. The number of times I've had that conversation with my wife. We should eat more vegetables. Yes, we should. We should definitely eat more vegetables. And it's like a week later. We should eat more vegetables. I really think we should eat more. I say round and round, but I mean it's just a straight line of doing nothing. She then proudly plonks down the healthy food in front of him. I was expecting this to be a muesli burger or a fungus-based spaghetti bolognese or something, but no, it's a wholesome bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh my god. I love Kentucky Fried Chicken like there is no other sweetness in the world other than my wife and daughter. In the second ad, I mean, not that I want to eat them, just in terms of things I love, it's like, you know, family, let's just say they're equal. In the second ad, a bloke bumps into an old friend called Jack that he hasn't seen for ages, and it's clear that Jack is looking better than he ever did. The first bloke can barely believe his own eyes. He says, "Jack? Is that you? Man, you look fantastic. What the heck have you been doing?" And he's just greasy round the mouth from KFC. He's got the little crusty bits in his beard. Not that I'm speaking from personal experience about knowing this. Jack is sitting on the tailgate of his truck, of course he is, munching away on the secret recipe of Colonel Sanders. "Eating chicken," he replies. God, I'm good at this, I could do this. What the heck have you been doing? Eating chicken! The commercials go on to explain that 2 KFC chicken breasts contain less fat than a Burger King Whopper, and 1 KFC chicken breast contains just 11 grams of carbohydrate while packing 40 grams of protein. It's even implied that a bucket of KFC is perfectly compatible with a low-carbohydrate weight loss program. The narrator of the commercial advises, "If you're watching carbs and going high protein, go KFC." Should I do that American? If you're watching carbs and going high protein, go KFC. Well, I thought this was amazing news. Right now I'm thinking it's amazing news, but I know I'm about to have my soul crushed. I had absolutely no idea that the smothering big lumps of chicken in seasoned breadcrumbs and then tossing them into a massive pressure fryer could actually be good for you. I made the decision then again to adopt the KFC diet for the next 3 months and assess the results. Unfortunately, Danny has passed away. He hasn't really. The script continues. Don't sweat, my little legends. Well, it turns out this was a bad decision and I never recaptured my youth. The only way that a KFC chicken breast would be healthier for you than a Burger King Whopper would be if you completely stripped the breading and skin from the chicken before shoving it into your mouth. And although it would be technically true that 2 original recipe KFC chicken breasts do have very slightly less total fat than a Whopper, this is kind of cancelled out by the fact that they also contain more than 3 times the trans fat and cholesterol, more than twice the sodium, and a higher calorie count. What a surprise. I mean, look, I'm not kidding myself. When I go to KFC, I know that I'm basically eating poison for my heart. Allegedly. It's okay. It's delicious and I don't do it all the time. Doing it all the time sounds like a bad idea. Don't do that. I'm gonna get a subpoena from KFC saying, "Simon, we prefer it if you cease and desist saying that you shouldn't eat KFC every day, because clearly you can." Another question to consider is what type of lunatic goes into a branch of KFC and only eats 2 chicken breasts? Yeah, I mean, you're an idiot, right? You got it. I mean, the order is clear. Thigh, rib, leg, breast. That is the order of superior. People will be like, "Oh, the breast is number 1." I'm like, well, you're dumb, aren't you? It's thigh, rib, leg, breast. Everyone knows this. I always just go in there and it's like, I want 1 rib, 1 thigh, 3 chicken wings, 2 extra large fries, 2 Cokes, and a dessert. Not really. Look at the menu. They serve this crazy in buckets. Knock yourself out. Even if you're sharing a bucket, you'll have consumed significantly more fat, saturated fat, trans fat, and calories than you'd ever find in a Whopper. I'll always be a big lover of KFC in moderation, but I was never really expecting them to be a recommended element of a low-carb, high-protein weight loss program. The Advertising Age magazine described KFC's claims as laughable and damaging, and called for the ads to be pulled. The Federal Trade Commission, oh no, they're getting in trouble, charged KFC with making false claims about the nutritional value of their finger-licking good chicken. Is it still finger-licking good chicken in the US? Because over here, it's now so good rather than finger-licking good. And I'm like, well, that's weird. I liked finger-licking good because it's truth. A settlement was eventually reached in which the restaurant chain admitted to no faults or liability, but agreed to stop making out that their fried chicken was compatible with weight loss programs, but was healthier than Burger King unless these claims could be proven. I'm guessing they weren't. Incidentally, I've just found out that despite what my mate Barry told me in the pub, eating pizza every night for 5 years is not a clinically approved natural remedy for wrinkles. Ba-da-bum-bum. Oh, you know what that is? You know what that means? Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Surfshark, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that's me surfing on a shark. Wouldn't it be great if these advertisers had theme songs? Surfshark! Do you use the internet? Dude, we are on the internet right now. Who writes this shit? Oh yeah, I wrote it. This is actually my version of their ad copy. I'm an idiot. I'm gonna put that pencil down or it's gonna fall off naturally. In fact, I'm gonna get rid of this whole case mumbo jumbo. I need to roam while I advertise. Well, let me tell you something. The internet is all kinds of weird. There are people out there who want to ruin your day. They want to take your details, steal your identity. Those are all real things. Hacking into your mainframe is probably not something you need to worry about because the last time we heard of mainframes was the 1980s. But I love saying, hack the mainframe. Surfshark has HackLock. You see, mainframes might not be a thing, but hacking definitely is. HackLock searches databases for your passwords. Not in a bad way. Surfshark's not looking to steal your data. That's not what they do. They do the opposite. They find those passwords and they're like, oh shit, Simon, someone's leaked your password, motherfucker. Get in there and fix that shit. And I'm like, okay. So then what I do, boom, I change my passwords because, I mean, look, we'll have the same password for a bunch of shit. Right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Let's not be, if you're out there and you're like, Simon, I don't have the same passwords for everything. Well done, you hero. Everyone else in the world does. So yeah, Surfshark, they protect you from that with their HackLock system. And while you're in that warm comfort of safety, knowing that you've got that beautiful HackLock thing protecting you, you're like, oh, I'm gonna chill out, crack a beer, watch some Netflix, and you're like, oh, you know what I'd really like to watch? And I'm sure this is out of date because I'm pretty sure you can now get Mad Men on Netflix check where I live. And it's like, but last time I was in America and I was like, oh my God, I can get the whole of Mad Men on my Netflix. This is amazing. So I download all of that and then I get home and it's like, oh, you can't watch any of this stuff. It's just clogging up your phone because Mad Men's not available in your region. What you do is you just boom, 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 fire up Surfshark and, well, guess where I now am? Chicago, or wherever, and you can watch it. That's pretty great. They gave the example of The Hobbit. I have absolutely zero interest in watching The Hobbit, or Lord of the Rings, or any of that shit, or pretty much anything by James Cameron. So there you go. The most interesting thing that James Cameron has done is going to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The only problem is he didn't stay there and has continued to make, other than Terminator. No, I take everything back. Was it James Cameron who did Lord of the Rings, or am I just slagging off the wrong guy? Let's get back to what we're supposed to be doing here. Oh yeah, so basically they allow you to appear somewhere else. Oh, another thing you can do with this. Also, if you're like, well, that flight's a bit expensive because you live in like Norway or some shit, and you're like, Norway's rich, let's jack up the price for people in Norway. Just flip it over to like Ethiopia or somewhere that's, less rich. I don't want to say poor. I think I said Ethiopia was poor last time and people were like, Simon, excuse me, please don't say that. And I was like, okay, I have to behave myself in at least the ad reads because otherwise I do get in trouble. I have a boss for the ad reads, but nothing else. And now that the ad read is over, Ethiopia, not really, it's not over. Okay, whatever. You can get 85% off Surfshark and you can get 3 months for free. Just go through the link in the description below or use my channel code BLAZE, B-L-A-Z-E, like the absolute legend you are. And look, Surfshark comes back because you guys actually go and do that, and that makes me money, and that makes me making more Blaze. If I get more money, I make more Blaze. It's a simple equation, people. Get yourself some Surfshark. Duracell lawsuits last longer. Oh, we're doing it again. We're doing it again. I had a lot of spittle right there. Am I still plugged in? Yes. Okay. They say that the simple words batteries not included are power. Sometimes I feel like I have as much fun with the ad read as I do doing the actual content. Shit. They say that the 3 simple words, batteries not included, are powerful enough to completely wreck a child's Christmas day. It's absolutely true. But of course, I've talked about it before. I used to love remote control cars as a kid. Like every birthday, I was like, I want a remote control car. I want a remote control car. And then you play with it for 20 minutes. The battery needs to charge up for like 4 hours. And then you want like, Dad, Mum, can I have an extra battery? And they're like, well, the extra batteries are really expensive because they work. Right? You need like 8 of them. then you can constantly play. But of course, the far-sighted parents will have already stocked up on separate batteries in preparation for the joyous celebration of the birth of Santa Claus. I have to say, my parents were absolute legends. They'd always undo all the packaging for me. They'd put the batteries in the toy and then box that back up and give it to me. So when I opened it, it was ready to go. And I'm like, respect, you legends. Separate batteries in preparation for the joyous birth of Santa Claus. Simon, Christmas is a celebration of Christ our Savior and Lord. No, it's not. It's a commercial holiday where we give each other and occasionally get together and fight with our families. And when you're putting batteries inside that brand new, I'm taking off my shoes, brand new Dukes of Hazzard electric set slot racing set, you want to choose batteries that are going to last until at least the shops are open again. Duracell, however you say that. I feel like Duracell is American Duracell. Their new ranges of ultra-advanced and ultra-power batteries from 2012. It's the FedEx, man. Welcome to Not really. I'm pretty sure it was clothes in there. Their new ranges of ultra-advanced, ultra-power batteries from ultra-advanced, ultra-powered Duracell. It's like Gillette Mach 3 Turbo Ultimate Premium Platinum Gold Status Pimp Glasses. I don't know why I said glasses, I was just getting carried away because they're definitely razors. They said they were significantly more expensive than all of their other alkali batteries, but the online marketing and packaging suggested that you were paying for quality. These new batteries were longer lasting, provided up to 30% more power in toys. 30%. Amateurs. Surfshark, 85% off. That's 15% of what the normal price is. Disgusting Duracell, allegedly. And should be used when it matters most. The only problem was customers were being asked to shell out a premium price for the ultra-advanced, ultra-powered batteries, which in truth didn't last any longer than Duracell's much cheaper alternatives. Oh no! A federal class action lawsuit, I guess Danny means there, was filed against Procter & Gamble, the owners of Duracell brand, which claimed that the company was engaging in deceptive advertising and were misrepresenting material facts. The lawsuit actually rumbled on for several years, probably about 273 times longer than a pair of Duracell ultra-advanced batteries would last in a Dukes of Hazzard electric slot racing set. I have no idea what that is. I assume it's some fantastic toy from Danny's childhood. Ultimately, a settlement was reached in which Procter & Gamble admitted no wrongdoing, but agreed to provide refunds to anyone who purchased new batteries. Yeah, I mean, really, who cares? You bought the batteries, it was a rip-off. I would much rather the company get fined because I'm not filling out some to get that money back. But this story leads to an interesting battery-powered tussle between two pink bunnies. If you were to ask me which battery band is associated with a pink bunny, it would be Duracell every time, of course. It's Duracell, isn't it? Duracell with the bunny. Although I feel like Energizer Bunny is a thing. I've definitely heard of Energizer Bunny. Are they both using bunnies? But viewers in North America and Canada would almost certainly associate the pink bunny with Duracell's arch rivals, Energizer batteries. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we were Duracell in the UK and Energizer over in the US. The bunny was originally created for a Duracell TV advertisement campaign in 1973, in which a drumming bunny toy was seen to keep on going for far longer when it was stuffed with Duracell batteries. I remember this. Many years later, in 1988, when Duracell's trademark for the bunny had elapsed, the brand's competitor Energizer ran a parody campaign in which they introduced their own slightly funkier version of the pink bunny with cool shades and flip-flops, which would keep on drumming even longer than Duracell's tired old version. This initially caused some with batteries, I mean, doesn't it say on the side how much power it contains? Isn't that like I use a lot of rechargeable batteries and they definitely say how much power they contain. This initially caused some confusion, and Energizer's market share actually shrank during this period because customers were getting confused and buying the bunny-branded Duracell batteries on the strength of the Energizer ads. But both companies stuck with fierce determination to their pink bunnies and ended up fighting in court over who owned the rights to the trademark. In the end, it was agreed that Energizer can use the bunny in North America and Canada only, whereas Duracell holds exclusive rights to the pink bunny in the rest of the world. It sounds like Duracell came up with the idea and then got kind of screwed because, unless my maths is really wrong, North America, oh well, the whole rest of the world's pretty big. That's true. Maybe Duracell did better. I thought it was going to say the UK, but it's the whole rest of the world. So it seemed as Duracell made a bit of a slip up here by inventing a popular mascot for their own arch rivals. That's almost as bad as Ronald McDonald defecting to Burger King, but a bum bum. Smiling Bob and the massive steaming erection. Oh my. We're getting demonetized. I'd never heard of Smiling Bob before researching this script, but he sounds like one happy guy. For a brief time in the early noughties, he was the star of no less than 18 different TV commercials for Enzyte, a herbal supplement from Berkeley Premium Nutraceuticals. Nutraceuticals sounds like, what you call yourself when you do homeopathic medicine. And don't forget that does nothing, dear viewers, allegedly. Oh, the homeopathic whole industry, they're mad litigious. So I would absolutely, allegedly, what they do, with the net cracking and all of that stuff, allegedly, people say, who's definitely not me, that all of that shit is kind of hokey pokey, if that's the right word, or like hocus pocus bullshit, people say. Smiling Bob didn't say much. In fact, he never said anything at all. His face was permanently frozen in a maniacal grin. But the voiceover on the ads gave a few helpful clues as to why Smiling Bob was so darn delighted in his life. Down the bowling alley, Bob was throwing them hard and straight. During Christmas festivities, Bob got the one thing that every lady likes, the joy of the gift that keeps on giving. This isn't so subtle, is it? Traveling through an airport, the narrator notes, Bob is not traveling as light as he used to, because he's got a massive penis. While down at the swimming pool, we see that Bob has a big new spring of confidence and a generous swelling of pride. It's also worth noting that Mrs. Smiling Bob always looks very happy too, much happier than their next door neighbors, whose hoses always go limp in their hands when they're trying to water their garden. Was this actually an advert? This is so tacky. Yes, if you haven't already guessed it, the Enzyte product was meant to promote natural male enhancement. That's not a thing. Like, those things is like, yeah, it makes your penis bigger. Don't buy those. It's not a thing, allegedly. Well, that makes it sound like I've tried it. I haven't. Although I'm taking my socks off. That's what I'm doing, by the way. It's hot. The fact that Enzyte was a herbal product meant that it didn't require any testing by the US Food and Drug Administration. Oh, that's a whole other thing, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, no, it's not for human consumption. It's decorative. But eat it if you want a bigger cock. Which was quite handy for Steve Warshank, because despite what the ever-chippy TV adventures of Smiling Bob seemed to be implying, there was absolutely no science or substance to back up his claims whatsoever. Just like business plays. Just watching business plays to the end, like a legend, if you're a man, makes your penis larger. Allegedly. In return for handing over their credit card details, many customers were invited to try a free sample of Enzyte before committing to a full subscription. This might seem like a strange tactic for a product that doesn't actually work. It's not because of the placebo effect, but it didn't really matter because Steve Warshank decided to sign these customers up for a full subscription anyway and charge their cards accordingly. Oh god, whether they requested it or not. Well, we just got into fraud, didn't we, Stevie? In most cases, Steve is going to prison. Maybe, allegedly. What? In most cases, he was only taking around $100 or so from each customer, but this soon racked up to a fortune which some estimate to be $100 million. Good God. And also only $100. The thinking behind the scam was that most of these customers were men who were too shy to go to the doctors and felt embarrassed about their problem with Oh wait, is it for erectile dysfunction or is it to make your penis bigger? I mean, erectile dysfunction doesn't mean that when you're swimming, you have like a giant bulge. Like, if you take Viagra, it's not like all the time you're gonna have a raging hard-on. These customers who did dare to complain were usually directed to a supervisor called Michael Johnson, a man who became notable for the fact that he didn't actually exist. What a surprise. His name is Johnson. On a similar note, some of the print ads for Enzyte claimed that the herbal treatment had been developed over a period of 13 years by a physician called Dr. Frederick Tompkins and a leading urologist called Dr. Michael Moore, neither of whom existed either. Oh, you're going to jail, son. You're going to jail! And it turns out Steve Warshank had a bit of form when it came to dodgy behavior. A few years earlier, while working on a different business enterprise, he had sent out a huge batch of invoices to restaurants claiming payment of $390 was now past due and required urgent attention. None of the restaurants had ever had any kind of business dealings with Warshank before. He later claimed that he'd made a mistake and meant to send solicitation letters to the restaurant instead of invoices for a very specific $390, which is an easy mistake to make. Yeah, I mean, that is like sketchy as because you're like, some people will pay it just because they're like, oh, you know, I got an invoice, pay it, and they don't check. Like, there was that guy from he was in like Belarus or some like that, and he just kept sending invoices to Google, and they kept paying them. He'd just mail them off to Google, just an invoice, and Google's accounting team will be like, okay, seems legit. And now I think he got extradited to the US. He's not gonna have a good time. The game was up in March 2005 when 50 armed federal agents Fucking hell. Raided the offices of Berkeley Premium Nutraceuticals and seized documents which led to a 112-count criminal indictment. Years of prison. I am gonna say he goes to prison. It's America. There's pretty heavy fraud, but not that bad. I'm gonna say he gets a decade in prison, plus he has to give all the money back. 3 years later, Steve Warshak was found guilty of 93 counts of conspiracy, money laundering, and fraud, and ordered to forfeit $500 million in assets. Let's just assume that was all of his money. And sentenced to 25 years in jail. Never underestimate the Americans. This is what I always learn. You're like, oh, what's the most it could be? He's ripping people off, but he ain't Bernie Madoff. And you're like, 10 years? 10 years has got to be it, right? 25 years. On appeal, the sentence was reduced to 10 years. Am I a wizard? And he was released from prison in 2007. Yes! Nailed that. It's so hard. I'm so pleased with myself. Some might say that the original sentence was a bit harsh. Others, yes, I would agree. Even though he's a thieving knob, 25 years is a bit harsh. Others might claim that the appeal court had just gone soft. Formula for failure. Oh my god, this is so long, Denny. My voice is tired. My legs are tired. My body is old. Finally, here's an example of a well-known company being given an inch. And how much longer is this? Okay, we got 2 more pages. It's okay, stick with me. We're almost at the end. If you're thinking about leaving right now, that's okay, I'll forgive you. But before you leave, hit that link below, get that Surfshark, yo. Come on now, don't make me hack your mainframe. Finally, here's an example of it. Gerber Products has been a subsidiary of Nestle since 2007, but has a long history of its own, flogging mushed up baby food since the 1920s. I've got a baby. Baby food is nasty. My wife's like, why didn't you taste it? Why didn't you taste it? It's like, I can smell it. And I know it's gonna taste like shit. It's like, no one's like, here's a pile of shit. Do you wanna taste it? It's like, no. I know it's not gonna be good because I can smell it. Why do you keep pushing me on this, wife? I don't like it. The distinctive trademark logo of the brand has remained largely unchanged for over 90 years, depicting the face of a baby girl who appears to me to have a look of creeping horror flickering across her innocent face, almost as if she can sense the pain and the anguish of the long, torturous life that's about to unfold. Oh my god, this got dark. Maybe she'd just seen the state of Gerber food. In the olden days, it was all strained peas and lumpy spinach and mushy apricots and shit. Actually, the baby who posed for the original photo in 1928 was called Anne Cook and went on to become the author of mystery novels. So life didn't turn out too bad for her in the end. Let's assume they were successful mystery novels, because if you're just writing mystery novels in your spare time that no one reads or buys, well, that is really sad. Anyway, in 2011, Gerber launched their Good Start Gentle formula, which apparently prevented or reduced the risks of infants developing allergies. Okay, betting it doesn't. The commercials of the time included slogans: you want your baby to have your imagination, your smile, your eyes, not your allergy. No, actually, I want my baby to have a nicer smile, nicer eyes, and a better imagination than I do. Fortunately, they've got my wife for that. And I don't have any allergies. So f*** you, Gerber, allegedly. And it seemed as if this bold claim was backed up by particularly persuasive endorsement from none other than the US Food and Drug Administration itself. Yeah, that can't be bought. Anyone know the food pyramid? Gerber revealed that their new Good Start Gentle formula was the first and only baby formula that meets FDA qualified health claim. Don't know what that is. Which is strange wording. It is strange wording. Meets FDA qualified health claim. It sounds like someone who's not a native English speaker has tried to say something but hasn't quite succeeded. Which is quite strange wording, but the general assumption would appear to be that the FDA have kindly confirmed that the anti-allergy claims are completely true. Gerber was happily flogging this FDA-approved stuff by the bucket load for 3 years, but there turned out to be a minor problem. Yeah, this would totally sucker in my wife. She'd be like, it helps with their allergies. And it's only a little bit more expensive. And I'll be like, please don't buy that. And she'll be like, I already did. And I'll be like, great. Gonna need to do some more Surfshark reads. Before launching the product, Gerber had contacted the FDA and asked them for permission to make the claim that the ingredients of their formula were linked to the reduction of allergies in babies. In response, the FDA advised Gerber that while they were happy for the company to make the claim, Gerber could only do so if it clearly stated there was very little scientific evidence for the causal relation. Causal? Danny's written casual, but I'm guessing it's causal. Wait, how do you spell causal? Is causal spelled the same way as casual? It appears that someone at Gerber took this as a glowing 5-star endorsement from the FDA and slapped the gold seal of approval all over the packaging. while neglecting to mention the small matter of there being little scientific evidence to back up the claim. The FDA says business blaze will make you smart, or at least less dumb, allegedly. I mean, there's actually very little or no scientific evidence backing it up, but I can make the claim as long as I've stated there is no evidence backing this up whatsoever, but it does make you smarter or less dumb. It's hard to imagine exactly what Gerber were thinking at the time. Maybe they thought that the FDA just wouldn't notice, or really wouldn't mind that much. Sadly for Gerber, the FDA did notice, and in fact got quite grumpy about the whole thing. In 2014, the Federal Trade Commission filed a lawsuit against Gerber for deceptive advertising, which reached a non-monetary settlement 5 years later, under which Gerber agreed to drop the allergy prevention claims. Is it just me, or do these things get dragged out for ages? I'm sure a small group of reasonably irrational people could have all this quickly thrashed out over a pint and a prawn baguette. It doesn't seem that complicated. Still, despite a few teething problems in the courts, it does appear as if Gerber largely got away with flogging supposedly FDA-approved baby muck for years without any financial penalty, despite the fact that their claim turned out to be as floppy as Smiling Bob's poor old next-door neighbors. This has been Business Blaze. I have been your boy with the blaze. The memes have been done by Sam. The script was written by Danny. I don't know why I'm listing everybody here, but of course, this video was sponsored by Surfshark, and you need to protect yourself from hackers and people who want to steal your data online with a VPN like Surfshark. 85% off and 3 months for free. There is a link below, and I'll see you next time. Why was I wearing glasses? Because in movies, hackers always wear sunglasses. I don't know why. I also wanted a hoodie, but I didn't have one in my office. So there we go. See you next time. It's like, no, it's not for human consumption. It's decorative. But eat it if you want a bigger cock.